For more on this debacle, plus the other market news of the week, we welcome back Ryan Patel, the Global Business Executive, Senior Fellow with the Drucker School of Management, Claremont University. Good to see you again, Ryan. Let me start with this. What the heck is going on with this Twitter and Elon thing? It just seems very hard to believe it's happening at all, but it has happened. So now what?
Are you surprised? Come on, Phil. You're not surprised. Elon, this is what Elon does. Elon, there was a winner. Elon won. People are talking about it. I mean, yes, looks bad that the deal broke away, but it wasn't. I mean, that's not that much of a shocking. It's not a black, to my opinion, it's not a black eye to him. He's still going to do whatever he wants to do, regardless of what anyone says. So, I mean, he got to say what he wanted to say. He got to see the numbers underneath the thing. So I think he won, and I think like it was mentioned, Twitter and Elon will find some kind of agreement, which I have no doubt that either he's going to take some more ownership or he's just going to walk away. But it'll be beneficial for both, I assure you.
Would you say, or are you telling me that Elon wouldn't take this company at any price?
No, I think he would have. I think he was sincere of what he wanted to do and what he wanted to change. Whatever has happened in the I mean, this is negotiations 101. There's something that he's trying to get and didn't want, or whatever the case is. But you know, I think for him backing out, he doesn't want to do it now. But I feel like there's going to be some kind of resolution, and we're going to be moving forward on it. But I know it's shocking in Wall Street when the deal doesn't go through, especially when it's high profile with someone like him. But you know, it's not. It doesn't completely shock me.
There are reports that there were a number of meetings held that Elon Musk was supposed to be at, and ultimately he didn't show up to those meetings. And these are part of what we call the due diligence meetings on the investment banking side that, hey, I'm calling a meeting with you to do sort of a check on whatever data is underneath this. And my point is that some are accusing him of being flippant about the entire thing because there are jobs at stakes. There's a real company at stake, and this is a real company with real people behind it, with real jobs behind it. And by the way, the vast majority of us also use Twitter as well. So it's funny, but it's not funny because it's real.
Yeah, and I think also, I mean, Elon's not doing this by himself. I mean, I can't imagine that he doesn't have his team looking at through everything. And Elon is out. I mean, when I say out there, he thinks he's creative, right? I mean, you can argue that he doesn't really like to be a public CEO when of being able to say whatever he wants to say. I don't think that, again, this may just my opinion. I don't think he just randomly goes, hey, I don't want it anymore. I'm assuming his team found some things and he chosen not to, even though I know we go after I mean, it just doesn't make, it's bad business, as you mentioned. You don't want to mess with people's jobs. You don't want to mess with a specific company if you're trying to derail it. I think he had the right intentions. I'm assuming his team around him are the ones doing the due diligence aspect and serving reports, and I assume that he's reading those.
Well, you and I will give an open invitation to Elon Musk to come on the show, and we can both talk to him about what his real intentions are or aren't. Let me switch gears, and let's talk about this big retail number, because a lot of people are surprised. Wall Street seemed to be surprised. We've been talking about inflation and recession, depression, and just how bad things are. Boom, we've got these retail sales numbers, and it showed that the economy really is holding up fairly well. The markets liked it. I want to get your thoughts on that.
So retail sales are up, and you saw the numbers, and I think that's been a positive. Online shopping, et cetera. The other two categories that were also up, banks and healthcare. Think about that for a second. Higher interest rates, healthcare, and that's great. I think the other positivity, which has been interesting to me actually, was that there was this notion, at least today, or at least that I was getting the feeling around, that Wall Street thought that the Fed wasn't going to go a full percentage point for the interest rate, which was a little bit surprising to me, that, it was going to be a little bit soft with all these news, and it won't be, the Fed won't have that ability to make that hammer fist inflation, or interest rate increase. So I thought that was very interesting as well. But Philip, this is second quarter when things are becoming more expensive going into the next quarter, when companies are reporting things are more expensive, even if sales goes up but profit goes down, that's when we start to see those numbers come out.
Let me ask you this. This sounds like a really just stupid question from my perspective, but I'm just going to do it anyways. Why is it bad that there's inflation? Because that means companies are raising their prices, which might mean they would make more money. I mean, and I've heard this. It's not just me saying. I've heard this from other experts as well. Is that from the media perspective, we panic over inflation, but the reality is that a lot of these companies can survive just fine with it.
So certain industries, certain companies, if you take banks, yeah, they'll make more money. Well, what about the employees and people being able to spend for those services? Do those wages go up as well? Not really. That increases to that. So for individuals, consumer spending, now they are paying for goods with a salary that's less. That means they'll probably spend less money over time because they have to save. And in essence, consumer spending takes a hit. And in the U.S., 2/3 of the economy is consumer spending. So it kind of, you're right, but also it's, when people stop spending, that means companies also make less money.
Yeah, it's just it's surprising to see these numbers today. There's been so much talk about people want to save, 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 and not spend, and of course we get this surprise. Ryan, it's always fun and informative to have you. Thanks for coming on the show again, and have a great weekend.
Thanks, Phil.